A lame duck session of Congress kicked off today, but without dozens of workers at the U.S. Capitol. The employees walked off their jobs to demand more money and union protection. Senior political reporter Scott Thuman's live in the newsroom with the workers' message to the president. Scott.
Well, Gordon, they claim that this is the first time in history that low-wage federal contract workers at the Capitol and some other federal buildings like the Pentagon and Smithsonian have gone on strike. And while it's only for one day, they say that's enough to send a strong message to the president. The music may be uplifting, but the stories of those marching, well, they're much different.
My daughter's in college. I try to send money there. It's kind of sad when they're trying to be a dad, they're trying to help your kids in college.
Reginald Lewis Sr. works in the cafeteria at the Capitol. So does Thomas Jones.
It's a real tough decision for me to do this today. But today the president needs to know what's going on.
What's going on, they say, is while they're feeding the most powerful people in the world, they're on food stamps, lack union representation, and want their wage to be bumped up from typically around $12 to $15.
For workers like me, depend on public assistance, I don't really want that.
President Obama did use executive action earlier this year, forcing private companies contracted by the government to pay more. And now these workers and some members of Congress want Obama to act again.
These contracts are extremely lucrative, and for the very fact that they are lucrative, then we should look at those who are not making even a livable wage.
But that money has to come from somewhere. We asked, won't that just be passed along to everyday consumers?
Otherwise, taxpayers have to subsidize many of these workers for things like food stamps just to keep going.
True, critics admit, but argue if companies have to pay more, they'll just hire fewer employees. So while their wages go up, so would unemployment. And yes, if you're wondering, this also falls under the same cries for Congress to raise the minimum wage itself as a governing body, but that is considered much less realistic under a lame duck and eventually Republican-dominant Hill, often of the belief that it would indeed force employers to cut positions. Maureen.
Thank you, Scott.